Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a playlist component, but before we do that I'm actually going to just make a class for videos. So of course we have something to put in our playlist. So the information that I'm going to have about the videos is just an ID number, and this is just going to be 1 for the first one, 2 for the second one, just a unique ID like always. And also the title, which is just this title right here. And I'm also going to have the video code. Now the video code is just this bit of information in the URL. And whenever you're embedding videos from YouTube into your website, this is what you need. So that's why we need that. And the last one is just the description. And I'll just say like video about dogs playing in the grass. Or for this one, I'll put like a video on how to install Django, whatever. And that's what we're going to be doing. So in order to do that, go ahead and make a new file in here. And I'm just going to name it video.ts. Or should I? Yeah, just name it video.ts. Keep things simple. Alright, so this is pretty much just going to be a class for videos. So we're going to export class, video, and now I can just start typing my information. So the ID is just going to be a number, primary key 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. The title is just going to be a string. Now for the video code, that's also just going to be a string, and so is the description. And let me just write DSC. That way I don't have to write description every time. All right. So I'm only going to have a constructor in here since we're not really going to be doing anything too fancy. So the constructor, whenever we create a new video, we just need to pass in all of this information. So we can pretty much just do this. We're going to request an ID from the user and also a title and also some code from that YouTube URL and some description. And they can leave the description blank if they want, but whatever. So now we just need to set class variables. So this.id equals the ID of whatever they passed in. And now let me do this. Title, video code, and this. All right. So in like 2 seconds, we created a video class. So again, we're gonna take these videos, we're just create like 5 or 6, just real quick. And then this is where we're gonna be adding to our playlist component. So now let's go ahead and make that playlist component. So you see the convention I'm following right here. Whenever you make a component, you write whatever the name is, whatever you choose, .component.ts. So for this, I'll just name it playlist.component.ts. Right like that. So we can actually copy some stuff from our main component, so I don't have to type it again. So we're actually going to need to import this since we're going to be creating a component. And let me just do all this other stuff by hand so you can kind of see me as I do it live. So since this class isn't just going to be a traditional class like this, it's actually going to be a component. Use the @component decorator. Now inside here is get out of here thing, whatever you are, is where you can make your selector in your template. So I'll just say the selector. In other words, this is just the tag name. Whenever we include this in HTML, we can just use the tag, playlist. And also, here's a little trick I want to talk to you guys about. So you see that I said that this is your selector, that's what we just filled out. Now your template is essentially the HTML that is going to be displayed whenever you use this component. However, it's actually not really a great idea to include your HTML right here. Because think about this, right now we just have a heading. I mean, not really that difficult, but what happens when we make this playlist? We're probably going to need some divs, some spans. We're probably going to need to embed that video. So if we have a crap load of HTML right here, then it's just going to get all cluttered up with our TypeScript. And also, what if you give this to your web designer and they're like, Bucky, I don't know TypeScript. Don't make me write all of this code right in here. I'm like, dude, just learn TypeScript. It's not that difficult. Like, no, I only work with HTML. Like, okay, well, do you a favor, dude. what we need to do is we need to separate our TypeScript files away from our HTML files. And by the way, it's not just annoying web designers, it's actually cleaner this way and the proper way to do it anyways. So instead of just having a template right here, we can actually have a template URL. So this is essentially going to be an HTML file that represents whatever HTML we want to use for the template. Simple enough. So in order to make one of these, just go ahead and make a new file. And you actually name it whatever your component name was, but instead of a TypeScript extension, use an HTML extension. So playlist.component.html. So now we can actually copy that so we can use it later on. And instead of template, make sure it's named template URL. So again, a template is just for basic HTML, but whenever you're using a file, call URL, and then that right there. Now, one thing I want to point out, and this is kind of weird, but whenever you're using these templates, you actually need to give it the full file path. So this is because later on, we're actually not just using this file. We're going to include it in our index.html. So it actually needs the full file path. So it's app/ts/playlist.component.html. And again, that is just so whenever we use this in other parts of our website, then it knows exactly where to find it. So in here, you can put anything you want. So eventually we're going to be making a whole playlist, but for right now, I'll just write, actually make H2 so it appears a little bit bigger. I'll write my playlist will eventually go here. All right, mate, looking good. So all the HTML we write here is essentially just going to be plopped right in there. Nothing fancy. So now let's go ahead and actually make this class. So for this tutorial, since I'm running out of time, I'll just make an empty class, and in the next video, we'll fill some cool stuff out. So export class playlist component. All right, so like I said, kind of running out of time right here, but check it out. In this video, what we did is we created a basic video class. So later on, we're going to be making videos using this blueprint. And we also made a brand new component, which is going to be our playlist component. Now, just to make things a lot cleaner, instead of writing our HTML right here, what we did is we separated it into a different HTML file. It's a lot cleaner that way. Trust me, and yeah, pretty cool. Looking good. See you guys next time.